If you're wanting to start or grow a property portfolio, listen up. And it's clear that we've got a huge problem. We're going to lose out as a business, and some of you are going to lose out to this, is to front up to it, be 100% clear with them. So the first part of the problem is the property market shifted. It's now a buyer's market, not a seller's market. Our sourcing team are having a field day. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. The second part of the problem is, and we've been in business for many years now, we know our numbers. If you're watching this, you are one of up to 55,000 people that are watching. We whittle that down to anywhere from 40 to 50 to 3,000 people, roughly, we're going to try and deal with. Only about 200 are actually ready now. Hello, I'm Jess. If you're wanting to start or grow a property portfolio, listen up. This message contains details of how to find your next property. 20 odd of you listening will be the proud owners of a property this time next month, all being well. I'm Jess, I'm founder of forthelandlords.com. We're the UK's #1 property sourcer. I've been a landlord for, over 20 years now. We've sourced over 1,200 properties. We don't think anybody's done any more. We're a letting agency, so the key difference is when we find a property, we're also going to take it to the end. We're going to, if it needs a renovation, we can organise a renovation, and we're going to get the thing rented out as well. We find, fix and rent property from Northampton to Newcastle, from Manchester to Nottingham, a big chunk of the UK. If you think of, if you've read any of those top places to invest in the UK, the buy-to-let hotspots or whatever, we invest in every single one of those areas. We property source in every single one of those areas. When we source a property for you, it comes with a fixed price renovation quote, a rental estimate, any renovation funds that are needed are held in a client account. They only get released to builders after after we check it and you get a copy of the check. It's a video. You get a video to watch when you're checking it, so you can see the progress of the property. If you want to see those videos, they're on YouTube. Search forthelandlords.com and the renovations, and you'll see there's literally thousands of those. Once it's ready to rent, we rent it and we manage it. You're very, very welcome to come and see the property. It's your property, you own it, but very few of our clients ever see the properties they buy. It's a hands-free service. If you've been watching from afar and you've not looked too closely into what we do or how we do it, I personally think we're the best in the business. I use the service myself, and it's as close to perfect as I can imagine it. Honestly, it wasn't always that case. It's taken a long time to perfect it, but the service is absolutely bang on, and it finds exactly the right house in the right area, does all the right things, and a landlord can build their portfolio hands-free. But we're in trouble. I've just come out of a team meeting, and it's clear that we've got a huge problem. I've put a hastily put together script here. You might even see I'm reading it because I'm just trying to get through this. We've got a huge problem. We're struggling to deal with it. We're going to lose out as a business, and some of you are going to lose out too. And I just want to outline what the problem is and how we can fix it together. I always find the best way to deal with something like this is to front up to it, be 100% clear with everybody. That's honest with myself, clear with the team here working with us, working for me, and give a clear vision of what needs to happen to everybody, including you. So let me tell you the two parts of the problem. So the first part of the problem is the property market shifted. It's now a buyer's market, not a seller's market. Hopefully that's not news to you, but the market has shifted. It's taken 6 months to turn over, but it is now a buyer's market, not a seller's market. We, at the business, forthelandlords.com, have property sourcers over every bit of the UK, like I say, those best places to invest. Our sourcing team are having a field day. One of the comments I heard was, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. These aren't price drops you'll see on Rightmove. These are nervous sellers selling and taking silly offers because they're in difficult circumstances for whatever reason. Maybe they own a business, has got debts that the interest rate's gone up. Maybe some of them are retiring landlords and they just think, I just need out before this mess happens, or whatever it is. I don't want to overstate this. You won't notice this in the news. It's not huge numbers UK wide, but for us, it's absolutely huge. You know, we're talking about 3 or 4 times the amount of properties that we can usually source being available, and that's huge. I mean, it's tens of houses, but it's still huge for us as a business. Okay, all the houses we can buy at better prices than we could buy them at this time last year. So that's the first problem. If that sounds like a problem, we've got loads of houses. The market's shifted. The second part of the problem is, and we've been in business for many years now, we know our numbers. If you're watching this, you are one of up to 55,000 people that are watching this video or getting this message. About 300 of you will step forward every month and express an interest in us, forthelandlords.com, sourcing you a property. 55,000 to 300, that's normal. After a group Zoom call, 300 comes down to about 100 people who want to proceed, and then we whittle that down to anywhere from 40 to 50 proceedable, for whom being a landlord is suitable. There's questions to ask. You've got questions, we need to answer the questions, we need to go backwards and forwards. Maybe being a landlord isn't for you, but we know out of those numbers about 40 or 50 a month are, and 20 odd and another 20 odd are ready right now, and some are going to be ready later. And of course, that keeps feeding in because the ones that were ready later were ready some months as well. So you can see how it works. Big number comes down to quite a small number actually. There's been a change of guard in the investors. So this is problem number 2. The investors who are buying, our clients, are different now to what they were last year. Some of them are the same, but there's definitely been a difference. There's a surge in demand from clients. More people want to buy. Previous clients who were buying might have stopped. Maybe they were more mortgage based and their money's tied up and now they're not buying. But then new cash investors are coming out of the woodwork. Lots of clients and or potential clients are nervous. That's a good word to use. It's a word that people have been using in the office quite a lot. So nervous. Got more questions. Some of them have only recently come across as a business. We've been going for 10 years more. But forthelandlords.com, they come across an advert on YouTube or wherever somewhere, and they've got some questions. And naturally, there's always a series of questions. So the more new clients we meet, the more questions. The majority of our business is repeat business, but the more new people we get, the more questions we got. So there's a need for more FaceTime, more conversations to be had on Zoom or on the telephone or whatever. So getting through those. So just very interestingly, in a rising market, I think this is, if you've ever heard the Buffett quote, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful, that one. In a rising market, there's less nervousness. Clients are bullish. They need very little convincing to jump on board. But when a market is uncertain, like it is now, it's actually exactly the point that buyers should be buying it, jumping in, but of course they're nervous. So there's more conversation to be had. That's what I'm trying to point out. If it's not clear, I've written this down and underlined it. It's not, never try to time the market. You'll fail. It's not your time into the market, it's your time on the market. Buy property for the long term. But, and I'm contradicting myself now, if it's not clear, now is the time to buy. What's happened to the market? Buyer's market, shift. There's properties out there, the shooting the fish in the barrel thing. So now is the time. If you want to try and time it, now would be your best guess. Property's cheap. There's bargains to be had because sellers are worried. We've got loads of houses, bargain prices. We've got more potential clients than we can shake a stick at. So what's the problem? We might be the UK's #1 property sourcer, but we're a small business. There's a team of 30 odd people and there's only 2.5 people that look after this, taking the inquiries and looking after, dealing with people. They're always busy. 2.5 people is always busy and there's very little spare capacity. Now they're fathoms underwater, Instead of being a nice steady march of 40 or 50 new clients or so every month, We've got hundreds and hundreds of you. But remember, out of 3,000 people, roughly, we're going to try and deal with, only about 200 are actually ready now. That's 2,800 people we need to talk to. Then it's a no. We can't cope. Simple as that. That's the problem. It's a really big problem. We've got loads of opportunity. I don't want to waste it. And we've got too many people to deal with. So I need your help, hence the video. I don't want to miss out myself. I'm buying as well by the same, but that's definitely a question that always gets asked. If you're so bloody good at this, why aren't you buying them all yourself? Of course, I can't buy 40 houses a month. You know, I wish I could. So we've got a business that sources, and that's what it has to do, how it works. So, you know, if you are a landlord or who wants to grow their portfolio, or you're an absolute newbie who wants to start a property portfolio, listen up. Let me read this so I'm completely clear. I need you to email into us. You will find you've either found this video because we emailed you, go back to the email and write back, or wherever you're watching the video, in the description, the email address will be there. Click it, send an email. To be ready, this is where I need to be really clear. You need access to cash. 80 to 100,000 pounds is the amount. I also need to be totally clear as well. We can cope with larger amounts. One of the questions that gets asked almost as regularly as, you know, what's the minimum I need is what's the maximum you put in. Yes, we can allocate, you know, pots of £1 million plus, and not all property sources can. I know that. You know, that's a lot of houses. You know, £100,000 house. Can we find 10 houses for you next month? Probably not next month. No, maybe in 2 months, let's say. But yeah, we can take orders of £1 million. If you aren't ready to buy, if you haven't got cash, please stand aside. Please reply to this email, no thanks. Then we know where we are. That will save us a lot of time. All those 2,800 people that aren't ready, if as many of you can write back and say, no thanks, maybe write a little bit of, you know, because it'll all stay on the system. I can't promise we're going to reply to them all, but your comments on there will pull on the system, so the next time we speak, then we'll be able to pull up on them, be able to read it. If you think you might be ready, please reply, maybe, and we know what to do there. If you think you are ready, you know, you don't have to be 100% certain, you know, 90, 100%, 90% is fine, you know, reply back saying yes. In fact, you can even put 90% sure or 100% sure, you know. So, no, thank you, no, maybe, yes. Please reply back. What will happen then is, and you'll have questions after that, and of course it's absolutely okay to have questions. Questions are good. So here's how we're going to deal with the questions. Forming a queue. If you're in the 90 to 100%, almost certain, we're going to send you a short email. You'll reply to us, we'll reply back with a link to what we call a buy-to-let order form. If you can fill in that or as much as you can and reply back as soon as possible, we will be in touch and we will try and fulfill that order, match up a property that we could source, or maybe we've got one in the pipeline already, maybe we need to go out and source it. They're out there, you know, our sources are speaking to estate agents and vendors all the time. They're there. So that will be priority number one. If you're a maybe, we'll still send you the buy-to-let order form, but you're definitely going to have more questions. So we're going to invite you to a webinar first, answer as many questions as we possibly can in the webinar, and take questions afterwards, and then send you the buy-to-let order form, and then go from there. We also, at any stage, if you're serious, if you're in the yes or the maybe group, we can do a one-to-one and get you, so you can actually ask questions. So if you're watching the video, click the link, reply yes, no, maybe, basically, to the email. If you got it from an email, just reply back to the email. Help us to help you. Yeah, we're in a bit of trouble here, so all help would be appreciated. Thanks very much. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.